give special recognition to all our guests that came in from around Nigeria, from Lagos, from Kaduna, from Kano, from Port Harcourt, from all over Nigeria. We want to welcome you all. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. DJ. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in a very few minutes, we will be receiving our Crown Diamond and all the VIP delegates and also all our very top leaders, the Black Diamonds that are here. Please, I want to crave your indulgence that as they make their way in, we will stand up and we'll give them a big round of applause and welcome them very specially. These are very, very top leaders. Of course, as the event unfolds, you're going to know the reason why we need to give them this respect that they deserve. This is Omega Pro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to recognize very specially in our midst this morning a very distinguished Nigerian. One that has made a man in his area of endeavor. He's the media assistant to the president. He's the media assistant to the president's office of the vice president. Who write this? President's office of the vice president. I'm going to look at well again. Is it what's it? Office of the Presidency. Oh, Pierre catch me on. I guess I don't do this one. We don't take small. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So very, very specially, we welcome the media assistant from the presidency, and he works with the vice president. Let me put it that way, right? So it's still okay. Let's welcome Honorable Ibrahim Bature Salama. Please, let's give him a resounding round of applause. Honorable, you're welcome. Thank you so much. You humble, Honorable. You can't sit down for back. Very humble man. I wish wish all of us the humble like that. Alright, so like I said, as soon as we have our Crown Diamond, which is our leader, the #1 man in Omega Pro Africa, he's gonna make his way in with all our VIP guests. As they come in, we will recognize them. So please, let's be on standby as we receive them very shortly. Thank you so much. Let's go. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please can we be up on our feet as we receive into this hall of ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, our Crown Diamond Omega Pro coming in with our Vice President Sale Paulo. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Crown Diamond Daniel Onoja. And all our black diamonds, our blue diamonds, we say very, very special welcome to you. Mona clap now, I don't understand. Let's make some noise. Make some noise. Make some noise. You're all welcome. We want to say very special welcome to all our black diamonds in the company of our Crown Diamond Daniel Onoja. Thank you so much. All right, thank you. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, once again, a round of applause for our Crown Diamond, Daniel Onoja, and all our VIPs. Let's give them a round of applause once again, please. Thank you. All right, to kickstart the event, we're going to start with a Christian opening prayer. And that will be taken by one of our top leaders. After the opening prayer, we'll stand up and take the national anthem, the second stanza. Please, let's welcome Pastor Yemi Ayodele for the opening prayer. Let's all stand up. After that, we'll take the national anthem.
Let us rise as we pray. Omega Pro. Let's rise up. Our prayer will be the second stanza of the national anthem. O God of all creation. Sound. Okay, let's take it together. 1, 2, go. O God of creation. Direct and noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to know, and through it just and true. Great lofty heights attain to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Amen. Let's be seated. Omega Pro, impacting lives. Join me this morning as I welcome to stage a Blue Diamond executive in Omega Pro who will also be moderating this event with other leaders of Omega Pro. So with a loud clap offering, join me as I welcome the world coach, Blue Diamond Executive Omega Pro. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. You can do better. You can do better.
Let's give a round of applause to Blue Diamond Pastor Yemi. He's doing an amazing job. I always refer to him as the landlord of Abuja. Abuja, are we ready? Place too dull. Abuja, are we ready? I see some excitement there. The guys here are undecided. They don't know if they want to be excited or not. The guys sitting directly behind the speakers, the top leaders, I see big smiles. But I like uniformity across board. My name is Akinlabi Arobusoye. I'm a Blue Diamond executive with Omega Pro. And my friends love to call me the wealth coach. Why? Because we use Omega Pro to take people from wherever they are to where they love to be. It's an amazing place to be. And today you'll be getting all of the information you need to help you get to the next level. Now, if you're excited about that information, I'd like you to say to the person beside you, next level. Get ready for the next level. Okay. Now, we're going to do something very quickly. I see there are some exalted seats right behind the white seats. They are colored in black or they are covered in black. Now, if you are a diamond executive or you are a Blue Diamond executive, we like you to come fill up these spaces. Now, in the Omega Pro system, we have a great appreciation for people who put in the work and take the brand to the next level. And so we're not taking it for granted. We know you've put in a lot of work to become a diamond executive in Omega Pro. You've put in a lot of work to become a Blue Diamond executive. So we like to recognize you. We like to give you a privileged and an exalted sitting position. So please kindly move forward. Thank you so much. Now, we'll be moving very quickly to the next item. And that's where we'll be having our opening remarks and the welcome speech. And doing this for me will be no other person. Well, he's really not doing it for me. He's doing it for every one of us. No other person than the man. Well, there cannot be two landlords in a house. So he is also a landlord of Abuja, but I love to call him the Honorable of Abuja. And this is no other person than my exalted colleague. He's a Blue Diamond executive in person of Honorable Raymond Akam. With a clap ovation, I'd like you to welcome him to the stage. Thank you, sir.
Abuja, are you ready? Abuja, we want to be the next billionaire. We want to be the next digital millionaire. You are welcome. You are welcome. Shortly, I will be calling for the man who actually made me, God used to make me actually who I am today. Is actually the reason why you are all here. When others looked at this opportunity and said it's another scam, but he looked at it and said, no, this is where my destiny lies. And he took that bold step with the VP of sales, whom we trust so much. I'll be calling him shortly, on stage right now, this man cannot just climb the stage without us giving him a honorable welcome or honorable ushering to the stage. Please, can we all rise with all, humility to welcome, in all humility to welcome the number one. This man I'm talking to you about has helped more people than your governor. He has helped more people than some people. I won't mention the name. He's not any other person but the first crown diamond of Africa, the youth representative of Nigeria, Ambassador Daniel Onoja.
Don't sleep, wake up. Wake up.
Abuja, are you excited? I don't see this excitement in you this morning. I'd like you to shout Omega Pro with the biggest strength inside of you. Bring out whatever strength you have inside of you and let me hear you shout the loudest. Omega Pro! Thank you so much. Today, I feel honored to have you all in this room, as you are all special guests to me and to the members of this wonderful community called Omega Pro. But there are some other persons in our midst today that have come all the way from outside the shores of this nation just to come and bless us. I don't know how many of us have come open-minded. I don't know how many of us have come expectant. I don't know how many of us have come with the belief that something about your life, especially your finances, is going to receive a change today. But personally, I feel honored to have one of my mentors in the room who came all the way from the States. Trust me, it takes the grace of God to bring this personality into an event like this. It took the grace for us to have him here. And because of that, we don't want to take it for granted. This person I'm talking to you about is known as the Rockers. He is an iconoclast, a thought leader, a nation builder. He is a visionary entrepreneur and a productivity expert, a life coach, and a spiritual leader. This person is an official member of the Forbes Council. If you don't know what this means, maybe you just want to take to your Google, or very specifically, you want to check your Wikipedia and type his name by the time I bring him up here. Please, without much ado, because he is a very busy person, he has another engagement right after he leaves here. So I want you to be on your feet, please, with every sense of humility and honor. I want you to be on your feet as you help me put your hands together as we have on this stage Mr. Olakunle Sorinyo. Please celebrate greatness in the house, people. Omega Pro! Thank you so much. He is my mentor, my father, my leader, and he is actually a life transformer. If you can open your mind and plug into what he's going to say to us here today, I can assure you that your life will never remain the same again. Thank you so much for the honor, sir. I'm blessed to have you here.
Daniel, thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Daniel Onoja. No, you didn't do better. Put your hands together for Daniel Onoja. First of all, I count it a great privilege. Can I come down? Can I come down? Is it okay for the equipment that I come down? If I stay in front of the speakers? Okay, great. So, first of all, I want to really thank Daniel and his entire team and the entire representation of Omega Pro for investing time and energy and resources to put me here, right? Like I said, I'm handling multiple conversations exchanges at the same time across the globe. I've been traveling for the past 1 month. I've been to how many countries? Addis Ababa, Harare, Lusaka, back to New York for 2 days, London, now Lagos, Abuja, and it's been tough. My health has been under a lot of siege. I've not been enjoying my diet and all of that. So to be here means a lot. But at times you come in contact with people who are doing something special. They may not do it according to the popular rules, but they are doing it in a way that works for their understanding and their vision. And somehow, by sheer sacrifice and grace, they are able to rally around a lot of people around a very small idea. That inspires me any day to see that the human soul enjoys the freedom to light a little fire and to get millions and millions of people around that fire. Without that, even religion will be impossible in the world, because most of what you call Christianity or Islam or Buddhism are essentially what one person decides to do in a direction, and you find billions and millions of people coming around that. So I'm really very grateful for the visionary commitment behind this work. I celebrate Daniel and his entire team, and I honor them, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for believing in yourself and betting against yourself, but most importantly, betting for yourself, and betting against naysayers and believing in the vision of Omega Pro that you hold so dear, right? I celebrate you and I thank you. I also celebrate you, sir, for all the work that you guys are doing globally. The world is watching, and this type of things can become anything. I wish people could know how the Boy Scouts started, how ideas like the Red Cross started. This is not a business in my view. This is a movement. And I wasn't told to use that word. That is how I saw it. And when I was asked out there to say something, I said, this is not just about marketing. This is not just about multi-level marketing or trying to make some money. This is fight for strength and renting a space for yourself under the sun and choosing the type of power that will be necessary for your own meaning as an individual and collectively as a people. Today, I have another event, so I'm going to speak very clear and very fast. So I want you to listen and pay attention to the things I'm going to say. Let me start by telling you that I'm not going to speak to you as just human beings. I'm going to speak to you today as black people. And I'm going to speak to you as Africans. And I'm going to touch a bit on the history that has attempted to define you. And I'm going to attempt to give you a consciousness that will drive your meaning for the rest of your life. We live in a world that has chosen the type of experiences to share. You, as individuals, are a critical part of the history that has defined the world. There's so much you need to begin to understand about the continent that you find yourself. More than the narratives that you have known, more than the ideas that have scaled in Africa. And I'll tell you some of them. One of them is the truth that we are the world's poorest continent as I speak to you today. The second one is that our governments have mastered the arts of carrying begging bowls across Europe and Asia and America, seeking favors and seeking aid, forgetting that for every degree of favor that you seek, you lose a level of freedom, whether you are aware of that loss or not, because favor is not free. Somebody is paying the price. And a begging bowl is not a pathway to prosperity of any kind. And people have to mature to a level of understanding where they understand that if they don't create their own table of power, right, they will have to endure the pain of being casualties and victims in the world. No human being should celebrate pity. Nobody should pity you. The most powerful person in the world are not people that receive pity. They are people who create ideas, products, and services and draw traction to those type of ideas. You will have a choice in this world to be pitiful or to be powerful. It's a choice you are going to make. You will have a choice in this world to cry or to be strong. It's a choice you have to make. What is truer is that nobody wants you, guys. Nobody in the world wants you. Your poverty is very critical for the advancement of a few. You have to understand that if you are poor, it's sad news to you and your family and probably your community. It's big news to some other people somewhere else, because every time you create a poor person, you have rich people milking that poverty. And you have a choice to decide what part of the experiences that define the peace of or the misery of people you are going to be part of. Now, what is easy in this world is to be a fool. What is easy in this world is to be weak. There are some things you don't need formal training to know how to do. You don't need to go to school to know how to cry. You don't need one day of training to know how to be weak. You don't need one day of training to know how to be a fool, right? These are existential experiences of the human condition. But each of us in this room will one day die. When you die, your legacy will live after you. It can be a sorry content that nobody wants to be part of, or it can be something huge that everybody wants to be part of. It doesn't matter what type of capital it is. Production must be constant. Consumption must be lesser, and depreciation will also be a constant. And every time you manage those three blocks right there between production, consumption, and depreciation, you form some form of capital. So I want to talk to you today about influence. I've looked at everything that is going on here, and one word I will put on it is influence. And guys, I want you to listen and listen to me well. Most of you in this room, whether you accept it or not, just because you have a black skin, just because you are African, you have a high propensity to fail or to be ordinary. That you will leave this world exceptional is almost an impossible articulation without your sheer force of will and strength. Everything is working against you. If you sit here in Nigeria and you are reading a magazine and a human being like you is sitting in France reading the same magazine, and both of you in Nigeria and in France saw an opportunity in America, the guy in France, at the speed of seeing that opportunity, picks up his bag, buys a ticket, and is on his way to America. You that saw the same opportunity in Nigeria, you just can't get up and buy a ticket and go. You first of all have to ask yourself if you have a passport. Then if you have a passport, you have to ask yourself, do I have a visa? And then you may spend the next 3 weeks or the next 6 months trying to get an appointment for your visa. The guy in France is already on the way. In 24 hours, is on the way to America. You, a human being like him, he doesn't have a better brain, he doesn't have a better color, he doesn't have a better skin, he doesn't have a better intelligence than you. But that gentleman, because of the structure that exists in his environment and the reputation that his country has curated for whatever reason, will pick up his bag and get to America within 24 hours. You will take another 6 months trying to get to America. And then by the time you are ready to get to America, if you get the visa, you may realize that the opportunity is gone. There are people who want to do stuff in America who pay people like me to help them to attend a meeting, because if they wait to do the visa and all the processes before they can make the meeting, they will lose that opportunity. So, the world is not fair. Let's be clear. Nothing is fair. The fairness of life is that every human being will somehow be stung by the unfairness of life. But the idea is that gentleman in France can pursue an opportunity at the speed of preference. You are going to pursue that same opportunity at the speed of permission. Somebody has to permit you to move before your best ideas can move. Somebody has to allow you to go to where you know your spirit, soul, and body wants to go. Somebody will have to permit you to do the things that are needful for you. Listen to me and listen well. Every time you hear a first world country, it suggests automatically that they are third world countries. There are basic ideas, I think 5 of them, that define a first world country. The absence of those 5 things define a third world country. So when you think of America, first world country, Canada, first world country, United Kingdom, first world country, Germany, first world country. When you think of those countries, 5 things define them. Number 1 is equal opportunities. Number 2 is quality of life. Number 3 is enabling environment. Number 4 is access to credit. Number 5 is the power of the currency. Now, if you go to France, or you go to Germany, or you go to the United Kingdom, or America, or China, those 5 things are there. Enabling environment, quality of life, equal opportunities, access to credit, power of the currency. They all have it. The country that when you aggregate those 5 things, the one that has the highest is the one called the superpower. So when it comes to maybe quality of life, you may have a better one in Canada and have a lesser one in America. But when it comes to power of the currency, when it comes to access to credit, when it comes to equal opportunities, enabling environment, America will still be better than Canada. So when you put it all together, America then becomes the most powerful country in the world, because when you combine those 5 things and you rate them per country, America is the one that will come up with the highest figure or the highest percentage at the end of that aggregation. When you go to a third world country or so-called third world country like Nigeria, and you start picking each of those 5 things. Let's start. Equal opportunities, 0. Let's go. Enabling environment, 0. Let's go. Quality of life, 0. Let's go. Access to credit. Let's go. Power of the currency. Let's take it again. Equal opportunities. Enabling environment. Quality of life. Okay. Access to credit. Okay. Power of the currency. So when a country is poor, essentially those 5 things are missing. When a country is extremely prosperous, critically, those 5 things are present. Am I talking to you? Now, what that tells you is the system you breathe in, you wake up in every day, regardless of its intentions, really is inadequate in its capacity to take care of you. Now, let me shock you. It is the person that is well that can donate blood. No matter how determined you are, no matter how visionary you are, if you go to the hospital to offer them your blood and you are, say, HIV positive, and I'm not trying to be condescending on anyone struggling with that, they will appreciate your offer, but they will reject the offer. Because the blood you are presenting is blood, but it's ill and is incapable of offering support at that level. So you will be rejected. It's not that you have not offered something, but wellness must precede donation. So you must be well to donate blood. And if you are not well, then you have no blood to donate. That wellness is called capacity. Capacity. So you have to have capacity to be able to help yourself or to be able to help anyone. Right? So the idea is, how do you build capacity for yourself? Because when people tell me they want to save Nigeria, I laugh at times, because when you go close to those people, they are yet to save themselves. And if you have not been able to save yourself, how do you save anybody? You have 2 dead bodies trying to enter one coffin. You have 3 million dead bodies trying to enter one coffin. Weakness supporting weakness and better weakness. Somebody has to be strong, and that person will be you. Somebody has to be strong with a shoulder strong enough for others to lean on. So when you see ideas like the representation of a Daniel or Nodja, I'm sorry to say this, but you have to first of all come to the understanding of what type of thinking drives a gentleman like this. Because Omega Pro is awesome, but it's not Omega Pro that made this gentleman. It is this gentleman and who he is that can find resonance with Omega Pro. Because 1 million times 0 is still 0. If you are 0, $1 million in your life will still come to 0. And no matter who you are, if you lack capacity, even in the midst of milk and honey, you will still be hungry. The idea is that you are yet to architect a type of strength for yourself that can bring value to you. Now, Omega Pro represents value. It's an economy. The idea that if you find yourself within this economy and play by the rules and the protocol of the organization, you will multiply value. But then, that is not something done for you. That is something you do for yourself. It's called DIY. Do it yourself. So, what has happened is you have an opportunity in front of you, and it comes down to how you relate to that opportunity, how you think in that opportunity, how you challenge yourself in that opportunity, right? So, let me begin to bring this home real quick. At some point in my life, I was struggling with so many things. I was born with something close to a silver spoon. I lived a quality life growing up, right? But somewhere along the line, things started going wrong in my family. I remember getting admission to the university, and I just couldn't pass for so many reasons. Not because I wasn't brilliant, there was just too much pressure around me. By the end of my first year in the university, I had about 15 carryovers. That is 15 courses I'm yet to pass. By the time I got to my 400 level, which is 4 years into the university, I had about 52 carryovers. So there's no way I was going to graduate. Even if they don't touch me, there's no way I'm going anywhere. But 2 months to final exam, I left the university for so many reasons I don't want to talk about. And then it was a shame in my family. Everybody was embarrassed, having invested so much in this gentleman, and he's off school now. By the time I got to 400 level, I had become a virus on campus. I was a cultist, I had a gun, my life was completely opposite of what meaning should be. I was jumping on the left side of life. Have you met confident ignorance before? When you don't know anything but you are not aware. So you pretty much carry your ignorance with a lot of class and swag and feel very confident, right? That's where I was. And I was a mess unto myself. Listen. And then I left the university. I was proud. But everything went sour. And my life began to go down the drain. And I saw that I'd come to my wit's end. And I knew that if I continued like this, by the time I was 30, one of 3 things will happen to me. It's either I will have been shot, or I'll be in jail, or I'll be in a psychiatric home. I was sure one of those 3 things was going to happen to me. But none of them was pleasant. So I made up my mind to create change. The story of that creation is what I want to tell you. This was long before we had mobile phones. This was long before we had the internet in Lagos. We used to pay to send a mail way back. We used to pay to go send an email. As a matter of fact, you have to pay to have an email account in cyber cafes. That was how it was way back. So I decided to start all over again. I gave my life to Christ, of course, and this is not prejudice to any Muslim here or any other religion, but that's what happened to me. I really can't lie. So I gave my life to Christ, and I felt inspired, led to go back to school to start all over again. So I went back to school to start all over again, same school, same faculty, same course, same lecturers, younger and younger kids for classmates. And I spent another 4 years, and the school will not give me a degree, and I spent another 4 years. So the idea is I spent 12 years studying a 4-year course in one university. At the end of 12 years, a normal human being should have a bachelor's degree, a 2 master's degree, and a PhD at the end of 12 years. 4 years for bachelor's, 2 years for the first master's, 2 years for another MBA, that's 8 years. Maybe another 3 to 4 years for a PhD, and that's 12 years. But after 12 years, I got a bachelor's degree, and it was a third class, right? And that third class, though, if you come close to me now, honestly, I don't need any PT because I don't live a third class life. I'm married to a queen, I live in a great house, I have an amazing family, right? And business can only get better, you see? But listen, guys, the way that happened was because I made a resolve to pretty much create a type of relevance for myself in the world. But part of that is to sit down to say, what people, what places, and what moments do I need to prioritize? Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to talk to you about right now in the next 5 minutes to get out of your face is very critical. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you are a dad or you are a lawyer, no matter what you do, or you are marketing, or you are just a force in the Omega Pro equation, seeking to expand and trying to make your commitment elastic. Whatever it is you do, don't forget that one. Life, at the end of it, is about 3 things. The people you allowed into your life, or the ones you denied access into your life. The people you allowed into your life, or the one you denied access into your life. Secondly, the geographies, the places you allowed yourself to see and experience and engage, or the ones you refuse to permit yourself to see and engage. Then 3, the premium you place on your moments. The premium you place on your moments. At the end of life, when death is sure and retirement is guaranteed, and you are at the departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight, 3 things will matter. People, places, and events. People, places, and events. People, the people you allowed into your life, or the people you denied access into your life. 2, the places you permitted yourself to see and engage, and the one you refused by whatever articulation to engage. And 3, the moments, the premium you place on moments. How you see moments, how you relate in moments. That's your life right there. The size of your pocket, the quality of your peace, the weight of your legacy are all tied to what you do with people, places, and events. So let me speak to that real quick. I'll start with people. When somebody is poor, it's not because they didn't go to school. In fact, this is what I say every time. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. And I pray you can understand that. Because poverty is expanded beyond the lack of money. But even to not have money is not just poverty. It's a prison. You can't do anything in this life, no matter who is praying for you. No matter who is praying for you. If 600,000 pastors, bishops, popes, archbishops are all praying for you, listen, and they are all fasting on your behalf, there are some basic protocol in life you will obey or nothing will shift. Part of that is your skill in building your own community of believers. You have to get better and better in attracting people into your life. But you also have the consciousness to be selective, very selective about who qualifies for the investment of your time and your energy. Because right there is everything you need to do in life. You really have to be skillful enough to be able to permit yourself to rent a space in the heads of people you meet every day. Don't think about sales. Don't think about marketing. Just understand that as a human being, you owe it to yourself to grow your own tribe, to grow your own culture, to grow your own language. And when I say language, I don't mean dialects. I mean the energy of your commitment. Whether you accept it or not, everyone in this room, you are speaking the language of Omega Pro. Yes, sir. Language is a vibe, not just dialect. And human beings sit down to say, we are going to create this energy. Each of you, you are a nation. You have to see yourself as a nation, but you have to create your own citizens. You have to create your own citizens, and you have to create your own culture and your own traditions, and erect your own protocols and standards. But most importantly, never forget what you are doing. What you are really doing is renting a space in the heads of every human being that has the privilege of coming in contact with you. You practically live in their heads, such that whatever they are planning to do, with an expiry date. Every human being on the face of the earth, you are going to expire in that one day you will die. Whether you like it or not. You are the chief executive officer of the product called you. You are the president of the nation called you. And you have to create the citizens of that country. I have a country. My country is called Global Republic. And guess what? I'm the president of that country. And I want 80 million citizens to live in that country. 80 million. And I work every day to get 80 million people paying their taxes in that country. Call it a subscription, whatever you call it. But my goal is to create 80 million citizens of that country. Now, I'm not going to sit at the United Nations. That is luxury. When you create your own country, it doesn't need visas, like it doesn't need borders. As a matter of fact, your country does not need a physical geography. It lives in the minds and the heads and the soul and the spirits of human beings like you. Google is a nation living in your mind. Facebook has over 1 billion citizens in the world. And I say to people, only 3 presidents can email 1 billion people at a go. The president of China, the president of India, and the CEO of Facebook, now Meta. Because they have 1 million people with emails and phone numbers. Whether you like it or not, Mark Zuckerberg is not just a CEO, he's a king. He's a president. He has over 1 billion people available to email at any point in time. 1 billion people. Think about that. One person, nobody in a corner decided that this will be my space in the world. Less than 10 years after, 1 billion people, their minds, their world is completely open to the thinking and the freedom of this gentleman. And he has done beyond Facebook. He's done Instagram. He's done WhatsApp. What do you think? This is how you must think. So how many people do you, forget about the guy that has, how many people do you need to become? How many guys do you need to wire your value around to become is it blue diamond? What's the highest level?
Presidential crown diamond.
Presidential crown diamond. Crown diamond. So whatever you need to do to have presidential crown diamond status, let's assume that you must have influenced, say, 1 million people to be able to be presidential crown diamond. If I am you, that's not going to be my goal. My goal will be to crash the business model of Omega Pro, to actually crash it. So I'm going to say, so you guys want 1 million people to be, okay, when I'm done with you, you are going to have to invent another status for me. Because guess what? That 1 million you want to have that crown, I'm going to create 5 million. What about that? So that when I've done that, you now sit down and say, hey, what do we call this guy? There's no space for this guy here. So what do? We have to create space for this guy. And guess what? That is what power molders do in the world. You don't know a target to miss the target. You know a target to crash the target. Every time you try to meet a target, you will never meet it. You always be below the target. You'll be a good performer at best. To be a star, you crash the damn target. You see what I'm saying? Once you crash that target, everybody pays attention. Everyone anywhere in the world pays attention to those who crash targets, not those who miss them. You don't need to do too much to meet a target. To crash the entire target, you have to be a genius of some sort. And once you do that, everybody within your community, every stakeholder around that environment will pay attention to you. Let me tell you something. The most difficult thing in the world today and the most expensive thing in the world today is not crude oil. It's not gold. It's not uranium. It's attention. Attention is the most priceless product in the world today. Giving attention and getting it. To give attention and to get attention. Priceless. Every time you arrest somebody's pocket, they have your attention. So don't think about sales. Don't think about marketing. Don't think about any of those things. Just say to yourself, I am in this movement to create my own country. I am in this movement to create my own citizens. Some call it communities. Some call it tribes. People call it different things. But I'm really here to create my own country. So how do you do that? Get better in how people experience you. I don't have too much time. Maybe if I have time, I will have broken down some ideas about how really to get people to buy into you. But think of yourself as a bottle of Coca-Cola. And you are the brand manager of that bottle. Then say to yourself, how exactly do I be the person that everybody wants to pay for? Because the guys you are talking to, trust me, are not going to talk to Daniel. They won't even see Daniel. So you can talk about Daniel all you want. You got to be that Daniel in your own space. So it's not about how much fire Daniel can put himself into. It's about how you can put yourself on fire so that the world can watch you burn. It's really about what type of masquerade you are going to put out so that the world can watch you dance. So how abnormal are you going to be? And I'm going to close on that. There's something called creative rebellion. Something has to live inside of you that rejects the obvious. And that says that I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not just going to be anyone around. I will be present, not just around. Do you hear what I'm saying? So, and that means creating something of such value that the whole world wants to camp around. I'll leave it there. But start investing in how really to buy people's minds in your direction. Find books that speak to that. There's little I can do in 1 hour of speaking. But I'll challenge you to begin to invest your time, energy, and resources in how you can bring people to live in what you represent and how you can rent a space in the minds and the heads of more people in the world. I just released a book with my co-author. and we shared this book. This book is published by Forbes Books, not just any type of publisher, not just any guy on the street. This is Forbes publishing our book. In the meeting, when we were having conversations, Forbes told us what we cannot do, Daniel. They said you can't meet this target. They said you can't do this. They said in the history of Forbes Books, they've never had anyone do this type of targets. They asked us, how many do you want to sell in the first 6 months? We said 1 million copies. They said, no, nobody does that. You're not going to do that. It's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. So we said, well, it's going to happen. And they said, no. Who are these black boys coming to America to tell us what's going to happen? Do you know the kind of people we've published? Well, the book came out on July 6th. On day 1, we were number 1 on all platforms in the world. On day 1. Not after 6 months, Daniel. Not after 1 week, Daniel. On day 1. And guess what Forbes says? Forbes said in the history of Forbes Books, they've never had a book become number 1 on day 1. You see, what they forgot is that the individuals behind that book don't see sales. We don't see marketing. We see nations. And we are thinking, how many citizens do we have in the world? How many citizens do I have? There are millions of people who believe in every statement I make every day. Don't forget who I am. No name boy from somewhere in Ijebu, curating a type of value that 51 years after my existence, I say something in the morning and millions of people will hold on to it like their life every day. That's a nation right there. You don't understand what I'm saying? That's a nation right there. That's a country right there. And I can plug anything I want into that. I challenge you to take a look away from your history, from your last name, from the things you think will pull you down, from the education you didn't have, from how many experiences you've had. People have raped you, touched you, abused you, taken you for granted. Your parent is a no-name person. Your mom is a no-name person. Your dad is a carpenter. There's no rich one in your family. Nobody has ever traveled abroad. And all of those nonsense that we say to keep ourselves small. Look away from that and respect yourself as a human being and accept the freedom to think beyond your limitations and to say, I can take the world. And guess what you need to take the world today? The internet and your phone. And as long as that internet is in your hand and that phone is in your hand, magic is in your hand. I pray that you see the point. I pray that you even see more than the point. Then before I go, I'll speak to you about spaces, geography. Think beyond Lagos State. Think beyond Nigeria. Do you know how many people are in Nigeria? 200 million people. That's what they said. And I know we are more than that. But 200 million people consider that you can just capture a square root of 1% of that population. Do you know a theory out there? The theory says you only need a square root of 1% of any population to start a revolution. Square root of 1%, not even 1%. Now when I say revolution, I don't mean violent revolution. I mean maybe financial revolution, maybe thought revolution. You see what I'm saying? You only need a square root of 1% of that population. Do the maths. Do square root of 1% of the population of Nigeria, 200 million people, and see the number you need to start a revolution. How many keys do you need to open a door? 1 key. You don't need a bunch of keys to open the door. So you don't need everybody. Just a square root of 1% of the population. You have more fools in the world than you have wise people. And somebody must be foolish for wisdom to continue to have value. Your commitment to take everybody in is foolish in itself. You have to expand your thinking and be selective. Your tribe is waiting for you idea. You are not going to look for your tribe. Your tribe is gravitating towards you. You need to start paying attention, position. I kid you not, every human being is born with his own community. If you respect yourself enough, you will soon see that goodness and mercy are not supposed to be before you, to be pursued all the days of your life. Goodness and mercy shall follow you, not for a while, but all the days of your life. Everything you need, your dreams are pursuing you. Your dreams are coming after you. Your millions of people are coming after you. Your 2 million people you need to crush your target are coming after you. They are not ahead of you. You don't need to pursue, you need to position. Stop hustling. Hustle is not a testimony. Ease is your destiny.